why I got into cooking was I wanted to cook food that had that sustenance characteristic, that soulfulness to it, that craveability, and that memory associated with it too. Because a lot of food is memory. You know, like now you'll have that memory for the rest of your life where you tried the extra hot, then you tried the Howland, and you look wrecked. You know, and you know, like that, you'll have that for the rest of your life. And then you'll have moments maybe where you'll be like chopping it up with one of your friends, and he's like, man, I love spicy food. You'll be like, okay, well, there's a spot I want to go to, and we're going to sit down and we're going to eat this. And you tell me, you know, if you still like spicy food after that or whatever. And then you're taking a memory that you have, and then you're sharing that memory with somebody else and creating a new memory, you know. And working for Thomas Keller, it's always been about memories, you know, like creating memories, you know, and then also referencing memories and things like that. Like he had a lot.
At the beginning of the summer, I got to check off a really important box on my checklist. I was in Los Angeles for the LA Food Bowl, and I jumped in an Uber before the fest, rode down to Chinatown, and stopped in a little place called Howlin' Ray's. Howlin' Ray's is the most popular hot chicken joint in LA, and it's run by Johnny Raison, the gentleman you see over my shoulder. There's a little clip of us talking. Part of the fun for me at Howlin' Ray's was sitting at the bar. It's an experience unlike any other. You get to watch them cook. You get to watch them get everyone psyched up. They have an amazing energy in there, and I got to sit there. And at first I ordered just a hot sando, ate that, and they noticed I handled it pretty well, so they offered me an extra hot wing. And I crushed that down. It was delicious, very spicy. I was starting to sweat. And finally they said, hey, do you want to try a Howland, which is the spiciest? So they handed me a pair of gloves. I put them on, and I ate their hottest chicken. It was hot. And while I was kind of crying and sweating and having an amazing time, I told Johnny that I have a show, and I asked him if he would do an interview with me. He was gracious enough to provide his email address, which I sent him an email. And a couple days later, right before I left, I got to sit down with him. Johnny Raison is a serious professional. He fell in love with hot chicken when he visited Nashville a long time ago. Right after he got back, he opened a truck, started selling hot chicken and hot chicken sandos out of the truck. It became very popular, but as you'll hear in the interview, the truck was a little rough. He is now upgraded to an amazing restaurant in Chinatown, and soon will be opening a second location. You can get fast passes and all kinds of interesting things from his vault, and he's working really hard to create an amazing experience. He was such a pleasure to talk to. He is just doing exactly what he loves, and he inspires me every time I open this up to edit it. So I hope you enjoy this interview with Johnny Raison. This is part 1, and part 2 will be out soon. You're listening to or watching The Best Barbecue Show. We've got a fun episode today. I'm here with Johnny Raison, owner, creator of Howlin' Ray's, probably the most popular chicken place in LA. I think so.
We're busy. We stay busy, you know.
Yeah. So you guys are open every day but Monday?
Yeah, 6 days a week, Tuesday through Sunday, 11 to 7. If you get in line by 7, we still serve you, so it ends up being open till like 8, 8:30 some days, you know. And then we do pre-orders before we open and throughout service. We have a Howlin' Vault where we release like these kind of like fast pass gift card things quarterly, and you can purchase those. There's a limited supply, and then you can place like fast pass order kind of thing.
So you skip the whole line, or you get?
Yeah, we've had a lot of requests for it, and we've been trying to figure out how to do it. And this is something that recently just got implemented, and it's working out pretty good. People are pretty happy about it, you know.
Well, and I came here a couple days ago, and 90 minutes is a pretty quick line.
Yeah.
To get here, that's really nice. I've waited in line for barbecue for 3-4 hours before.
Yeah.
When I first started going to Snow's, I was in that line. Probably spent 300 hours in that line.
Wow.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Do you, one of the reasons I wanted to come here wasn't just the amazing hot chicken, but you have this amazing air, this fun attitude, this just everyone's psyched to be there. Everyone's psyched to see everybody. Everyone's, howling, dancing, showing off for people's Instagrams and the social media. Was that organic? Did you just decide you wanted to have like the best attitudes in the world, or what?
Yeah, I mean, it just kind of evolved, So I've been a chef for about like 13, 14 years now. And when I first opened it, I didn't know what to expect, I just knew I wanted to bring hot chicken to LA, Nashville hot chicken, and introduce it to the city and share with the city something that I fell in love with, out in Nashville. And so I did my research, met the families, met the people behind it.
Wow.
Went from place to place, trying the whole scale of things, going to different spots that aren't even maybe tied and relevant to Nashville hot chicken, like Arnold's Meat and Three or Mount Zion Church, like on Easter Sunday, but just absorbing the culture and the people. That's really something that I also fell in love with, and wanted to introduce to, LA. So part of that, what you're saying, that dancing, that celebration of life, celebration of, a gratitude towards somebody for spending 90 minutes, of their time waiting for, a counter seat or whatever it may be, sharing that love and that was an important part to what I also wanted to bring to LA was that Southern hospitality, that appreciation for the individual and the human being, regardless of race, culture, ethnicity, whatever. It doesn't matter. It's like, we appreciate you kind of thing. So it took on its own thing. People would come in with their phones. We started like, hey, we got a Snapchat or Instagram, and hey, everybody yells. And then that started a thing, and then people hear it in the line. And so then when they're going up to order or whatever, they pull out their phones, and then it just it became its own animal / beast, and it is what it is today, and it's continually evolving,
Did you, I know that you were working when you tried the chicken for the first time. Was that just a total fluke, or were you interested in it before you went to Nashville? Or?
So yeah, I went out to Nashville to study Sean Brock's cooking, like this antebellum Southern cuisine that was very it had this kind of air of mystery to me, because typical, you think Southern food, you think mac and cheese, collard greens and things like that, but rarely do you think about things like a Three Sisters succotash, or like a type of aging a cowpea, like leather breeches, it had this allure to me where I was like, these names and these different dishes that have been passed down through tradition, and so I wanted to go out there and study that. And that's originally why I went out to Nashville, was after my father passed, I was kind of like, I realized life is really short and fragile, and might as well go out and do what you want to do and learn what you want to learn about. And so I was willing to kind of pay for a flight and do a stage, which is where you go out and you work for free.
Yeah.
For 16-hour days, like 6 days straight, just working for this guy. And I fell in love with the culture. I had hot chicken. I fell in love with hot chicken. But originally, that's why I went out there, is I wanted to, study that type of cooking. That it was something that really, for some reason, it drew me towards it.
Well, and you create that amazing experience for so many people. I almost was going to let someone in front of me in line because I saw that I might not get a seat at the bar, and I was like, well, I'll let them go, and then the bar will clear. Because I want to sit at the bar. I wanted that experience. Did it feel that way when you had your first hot chicken sandwich? Like, to just look at the sandwich, and is that why you make that such a grandiose experience here?
Well, I mean, the first time I had hot chicken wasn't actually in a sandwich. So just like that evolution of, the hospitality and passing the sandwich, or, doing shout outs and stuff, I had a breast quarter, and I fell in love with the quarter pieces of Nashville hot chicken, because traditionally fried chicken served by the piece, so it's like a 10-piece meal or whatever.
Yeah.
They take one breast, and they cut it into either 2 or 3 sections, and then that's a breast piece, right? That constitutes one piece, and it's a way for them to make more money. And then your wing will be a separate wing, you know what I mean? Your thigh will be a thigh, your drumstick will be a drumstick. But quarter pieces, the thigh and the drum are still attached and the backbone's still on there. Now, backbones are used for like stock, and they're very flavorful pieces of the chicken, albeit they're not like the most enjoyable to eat, just a straight backbone. But if you like really suck on a backbone and taste it and get the marrow and everything, it's like chicken soup, you know, it's like amazing flavor profile. And so our quarters, you know, and quarters, Nashville hot chicken fried in quarters, it blew my mind. I never had it like that before growing up in Los Angeles. So the sandwich was an evolution where my wife was like, we got to do a sando. You know, LA's big on sandos, and you know, we weren't necessarily like crushing it with the quarters. It's my UPS guy. He also makes our hats too. Shout out to Level 5 Wear. Yeah, there we go. There you go. See, I mean, how much more supporting local? Your UPS guy is the guy that makes your hats. You know what I mean?
That's incredible.
Yeah, it's super cool.
Well, everyone in LA kind of has a second gig, you know. Every person I've gotten an Uber from this whole time has, you know, they're either acting, my travel companion is like making jokes with them, like, hey, do you have a script?
Yeah.
But I'm sure the guys that work here too have other things that they do and other hustles besides just working here. But
right now, lately, it's been having babies. A lot of my guys are having babies.
Well, that means they're comfortable. That means you're being a good boss.
Yeah, no, I was talking to my barber about that, and it was pretty cool, you know, to have in the past, I think 3 months, 3 employees birthed child, not the employee, but maybe his girlfriend or wife or whatever.
Yeah.
And it's cool, you know. One of them named him Anakin. One of them named him Gianni. So it's just, I don't know, it's cool, you know. And
little Howlin' onesies yet?
we're working on those. We had a few different baby wear. They sold out pretty quickly. Funny story, one of our customers, one of the little kids that would always come in, he had a gold tooth right here, super sweet kid. I gave him a little baby shirt, like a small shirt, and he wore it for his school photos.
It's incredible.
It's super dope. Yeah.
You have a copy of that somewhere?
I have it. It's a soft copy, so it's on my phone, you know. Yeah.
That's amazing. Well, so is there a secret? I mean, we've all been to places that have different levels of, you know, the employees are happy, unhappy, whatever. Like, do you do something every day? Is there a way that you know, I kind of saw you interacting with guys, and it seems like you delegate a lot. It seems like you trust them. You think that's part of really keeping everyone happy?
I think it's a combination of so many different things. You know, first it starts with getting the right person. You know, like really, and I feel I'm a firm believer on not hiring based on experience. You know, not just, okay, this guy's been a chef for 12 years, let's get him. You know, like, or he's worked for some amazing restaurants, let's get him. You know, what if that same guy comes in and interviews and it's like he's got an ego about him, you know, and wants to kind of change the way the system's going and things like that. I don't think that's beneficial, regardless of the years of experience. So part of it starts with the hiring process, you know, like really having an open mind to individuals that may not be necessarily qualified at the time, or maybe they don't have certain strengths, and maybe they don't interview very well, and they don't, you know, come across as like an amazing employee, but you have a gut instinct, like this is a good person, you know, and I can teach this person.
Yeah.
So if someone's a really good person and trustworthy, and I can teach them, you know, obviously they're going to make mistakes, but if I can teach them, they have a job. You know what I mean? And you know, there's even some people that you'll meet. I don't know who was on the line at the time that you were on there, but if you remember any names or anything like that, there's a few guys that just their aura and who they are and how they interact and stuff like that, that you feel like you know them. There's some people you meet, you just feel like you know them, and those are the type of people that I like to hire, you know, and it's not about the experience. And then, you know, in terms of pay and hours and cutting hours, we're very, very generous with that, you know, and then taking care of them too, and teaching and guiding and sharing knowledge with them. I feel like that's something that makes an employee value the job even more, is when they feel like they're gaining tools to utilize in their life, both in their career and outside their career in their personal life, you know. A lot of the guys, one of the guys I help with like credit card debt, or help get a guy a car, you know, help a guy with his teeth, get scheduled this dentist stuff for him and help pay for some of that because his teeth just rotted to pieces, like little things like that go a long way, and then continually being that head of that train where you're just like, what's next, and how am I going to get there, and then how am I going to expand the roof of the ceiling for these guys too, how am I going to make it where I can double their salaries, even though they're getting paid really well right now, how can I give them even more, and how can I grow as a mentor, boss, leader, chef, and that mindset, that student mindset, I feel like it can be as if it's like a magnet. People get drawn to that and they want to be a part of that, and they want to work in environments like that because it's so positive and uplifting. So I feel like those are some keys to success that I have with my employees and even customers too, like it's the same relationship. I feel like a customer and employee, because the employees are gonna talk to their friends, and customers are gonna talk to their friends about their experience and how it was. And so, there's a Tupac song, All Eyes on Me. You really need to pay attention how you conduct yourself with every single person, and then doing things like this podcast and stuff. People will respect that, like today's technically like a day where I could like rest and just chill and do, like nothing, because Sunday was a little hectic, but here I am sitting down with you. I know you have a short period of time in LA, and isn't that hospitality? You know what I mean? That's what I feel like my job is as a chef, is to be hospitable with people, with human beings, and so those are definitely some reasons I feel like that culture of how it is and what you got to witness is how it is. Because it's crazy, because you were only there for maybe 20 minutes, 30 minutes, maybe longer.
Probably 45 minutes.
Yeah, you had the extra hot, and you were just really, you had your toys too. It was so funny because when my dad was still around, he was the same way like you, where he would have these different 3D toys, like he did 3D comic books.
Oh, cool. And
converted, images from the flat art to 3D art.
Nice.
And he would have all his different little gadgets and stuff. And when I was growing up, like dial-up modem, like fax machines. Yeah. The iMacs were still the multicolored ones. I don't know if you remember those ones.
Bubbly and
like there's the blue, the orange, and stuff like that. And it was so fun. I remember like he would struggle with some of the devices sometimes because he's an older guy. And one time he got so mad at that Mac that he took it outside and threw it on the floor and hit it with a hammer, and it was just like pieces shattering everywhere. And technology's really come a far way. But it was funny seeing you on the counter right there. Like it was reminiscent of when I was growing up. Like this older gentleman with all his toys and gadgets, and he's like doing his thing. Like enjoying life and enjoying the different technologies that are available to him.
Yeah. Well, and I've been watching you guys. I was gonna say you not only support your staff, you not only trust them, you also promote them.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure I follow Lewis and Mario and at least one other person because you gave them a shout out, and I was like, I'm going to follow this dude.
Yeah.
And I tagged them all when I was on my way here and just told them what's up. Like, yo, I'm going to be there. I'm so psyched. And they're like, Roger that. Like 10-4, let's go.
Yeah.
And it's cool because in the barbecue world especially, you talk about supporting them with their teeth or whatever. There's a lot of stories like that. I've had guys on the show that they had to bail their guy out of jail or help him pay something, or there's that support when you have someone you trust. Some guys look for green people. They would rather have someone who has no idea what they're doing, because as long as they're a good person, you can teach them.
Yeah.
Is it just kind of organic? Do you just see, someone has a birthday, something's happening, so you just kind of shout them out? Or is there like a tactical way that you do that, or you're just excited to
I was having a conversation with another gentleman about this too. It's like, there's just a genuineness to it. When your goal and your mission and the reason why you're doing things, is very pure. And like our goal being, to be hospitable, to welcome people, to celebrate whatever needs celebrating at that time. If someone wants that shout out, or someone's asking for a shout out, or customer's asking for something, or maybe you overhear a customer saying, man, I wish I would have got that hot. Boom, hot's right in front of them, right there that second, because we hear it and we just make it, and it's more of a mindset, I would say, than it's like picking and choosing what to celebrate. You know what I mean? Like, obviously, I knew you were like, seemed like you're out of town guy, not necessarily maybe a local, visiting. And you mentioned, like, I've been hearing a lot about it, and you seem to kind of be savvy about food a little bit, you know. So I wanted to kind of like give you that experience, you know. I don't know if you maybe had Nashville hot chicken prior.
A little bit.
Yeah, where?
Patty B's
Okay.
And
Prince's
small
maybe?
places. Not Prince's yet.
Bolton's?
No,
You'll love. You should check out Bolton's, because he does some barbecue stuff too. And I remember last time I was there, probably like maybe 8 months ago or longer. He was outside of his store with this little barbecue, just doing some baby back ribs, you know. And he's known for a little bit of a hotter Nashville hot chicken, a little bit more of a dry rub. But he also does hot fish with catfish, bomb. He does a baked spaghetti side, bomb. He does the string beans, albeit like they're a little bit more less al dente than maybe you might like, you know, but they're still really, really good, you know. And his sides are great. His beans are great, you know. So Bolton's, I would definitely recommend. You know, get the hot fish for sure. Get it with mustard, onions, you know, pickles on it, on the white bread. You make a little sandwich. It's spicy, make you sweat. The heat in that room, the humidity in that room, like the stickiness of the walls, you know, it's all this beautiful experience, you know. And that's definitely, with barbecue guys, I recommend that spot. 400 Degrees. She's great. Aki, she just had, I think she's on a second baby. We actually flew out some of our staff members out there, and we did a pop-up with her. So we cooked our wings around Christmas time, and just for free for the city, because we knew the city was getting word about like us and stuff like that. So we wanted to like bring it to them and show them what we were doing and how we were doing it. And that went great. That was amazing. And Prince's, you gotta check out Prince's. Pepper Fire, they have a thing called is that pepper? It's a deep fried grilled cheese, basically. Yeah, and they serve it with like an apple compote, and then hot chicken, obviously, like tenders. And it's pretty cool. I think you would like that, you know.
That's awesome. That all sounds amazing.
Yeah, it's great. There's all these different, you know, and they're right across from Hattie B's downtown. If the line's too long or whatever, and you want to wait for a second, go across the street and get a Bushwhacker. Have you ever had a Bushwhacker? So Bushwhackers are like these smoothies, not smoothie, like a frozen alcoholic beverage that's got like rum in it. It's got like, it's so many different alcohols in it. And it's wild, you know. You can get a half whack, which is like, a little one. And it's not just that place that serves it. It's kind of a Nashville thing, Bushwhackers, you know. And goes great with hot chicken, because it, like, especially afterwards, you know, it's a little bit of alcohol and it's got that cooling kind of, you know. So we always end up going there after we go to Hattie B's. But it's you know, that city and those experiences, that's why we're doing what we're doing and how we're doing it, for sure. It's you know, it's our interpretation of it, but we're not trying to be something that's not us. You know what I mean?
But you're a chef, so you could, you know, you have the resume, you have the history to be, you could be in some place that has 10 seats, and you could be doing these big momentous or fancy things, but you chose this very simple thing and do it perfectly. So were you just excited about the scene? How did you get from I like hot chicken to like I'm gonna have the most fun hot chicken restaurant ever?
Yeah, I mean, it was doing something that it's doing something that I got into this field for. I got into being a chef not to, you know, have a 10-seat restaurant or do tasting menus or you know, like be super creative with the plating, but you know, maybe the taste isn't there. To be honest, there's places that I've gone where the plate and the service, and it's beautiful, it's amazing, you know, but on a soulful level, the food, it felt detached, it felt mechanical, it felt almost medicinal, you know, like in a way of like, it was just so constructed, and it was beautiful to look at. It's beautiful for the gram. It's beautiful to like shout out and show people what you're doing. You know, it's like, oh, but it didn't hit me. And there's been a few fine dining restaurants that I've gone to. There's some in France that just really, they had that soulfulness to it, but also that artistry and that composition that, you know, a lot of the fine dining restaurants have. And why I got into cooking was I wanted to cook food that had that sustenance characteristic, that soulfulness to it, that craveability, and that memory associated with it too, because a lot of food is memory, you know. Like now you'll have that memory for the rest of your life where you tried the extra hot, then you tried the Howlin', and you look wrecked, you know, and you know, like that. You'll have that for the rest of your life, and then you'll have moments maybe where you'll be like chopping it up with one of your friends, and he's like, "Man, I love spicy food." You'll be like, "Okay, well, there's a spot I want to go to, and we're gonna sit down, and we're gonna eat this, and you tell me, you know, if you still like spicy food after that or whatever." And then you're taking a memory that you have, and then you're sharing that memory with somebody else and creating a new memory, you know. And working for Thomas Keller, it's always been about memories, you know, like creating memories, you know, and then also referencing memories and things like that. Like he had a lobster dish with peas and carrots, and the peas and carrots was a reference to when he was growing up, the frozen meals that had the peas and carrots in it.
That's
you know,
exactly what I thought of first.
Exactly, and that's awesome. That playfulness, that you know, throwbackness to like old school, but more importantly, that soulfulness and that memory, you know, kind of creating, but also referencing, is what inspired me about being a chef, and that's why I'm doing this. And it's because, to put it simply, I got into being a chef for those specific reasons, and then also I like the hard work aspect to it. There's a reason why there's like call outs. There's a reason why, you know, the lines right there in front of the guys. It's just this. It just embodies so much about who I am as an individual and a chef, you know, the layout and everything like that. It's my little mini dream restaurant, you know. And it's funny because now you have a lot of places maybe looking to this restaurant for their design or their, you know, and that's cool. That's awesome, you know, to inspire other people. And so, now I just keep going, keep moving forward on it. But those are some of the reasons why I have it how I have it, is because, you know, what I got into it for, what excites me about it, and what makes me happy about being a chef. You know what I mean?
And reeling back a little bit, you started with a truck. You know, unfortunately, I didn't get to experience that. But was the truck the same vibe? Was it, you know, did you have seats? Did you have a lot of seats, or what was the truck? Did it kind of evolve into this, or was it kind of the same thing?
Yeah.
Traveling around?
So the truck didn't really make that much money. The truck was a taco truck, all white taco truck that we painted black. We threw a few vinyl stickers on it, and it was built to serve tacos. It had a steam table, a 36-inch griddle, one maybe 25-pound fryer, one fryer, and it would break down after driving for 40 minutes, so you'd have to, you know, put a timer on and then stop driving after 40 minutes and then let it kind of like cool down and then keep going. It was not fun, but you know what it was? It was my foot in the door to serve Nashville Hot Chicken in LA. And I didn't want to get any investors involved. I didn't want to, you know, kind of sell out hot chicken, you know, and just do it for the money or whatever. I wanted to introduce it to the city and do it in a way where I'm representing what I fell in love with about Nashville. And so there was no music. I had a little Bluetooth speaker. I mean, you can call it that, but now it's not bumping like that.
It's definitely bumping.
Yeah, exactly. And it wasn't, there was not long lines. We were only serving quarters. We had a bunch of sides, like black eyed peas, you know, like just a lot of different cucumber salad that we still get like requests for today, you know, some of those sides, a potato salad, you know, things like that. It was more side focused and quarter focused than it was just chicken focused, you know, and that, you know, kind of took it, we weren't really making money. We had one employee, and most of the money that was made went to paying him and paying for our food, and we did have enough of a following where we could just stay open and not have to close it. But I leased that track for 6 months, and I did pop-ups in Venice or downtown Silver Lake, and I started to get a feel for where we were busier. And Silver Lake, we were really busy. Downtown, we were really busy. Venice, it was like, it wasn't as busy. I feel like people are a little more health conscious, like out there. I don't know, but we also didn't have a name at the time. So then we go, and like a month or two before our lease is up, we introduced a hot chicken sandwich. That was the first time ever that we had lines. Was when we announced we're doing a hot chicken sandwich, and that was my wife's idea to do that. And
Shout out to Amanda.
Yeah, Amanda Chapman. She's like, we gotta put a sando on there, and we spent like a lot of time on the layers of it, how it's composed. Even our spice blend, we went through like 27 to 200, at different times, scaling it by the grams. So we would change, okay, take out 2 grams of this, 2 grams of that, add 1 gram of this. And then we would make it, test it, and then we would be like, okay, let's do 4 versions of that with 2 grams more black pepper, 1 gram less this, And so it was just like this branched out, crazy, fine dining technique to find a spice blend when you're literally controlling it by the gram. And so Hot Chicken Sando gets released, and we pick up some traction from that. That was really good. And then we go into some different restaurant deal negotiations, but they all fall through. And I kind of got to a point where I was like really lost. I didn't know what, because the truck was closed and all my restaurant deals fell through. So I was like, where am I going? You know what I mean? And then I ran into Alvin Kailan at a food event. Alvin Kailan, he's known for doing creating egg slut. He hit a spot right here.
His burger shows are cool.
Burger show, yeah. He has a spot out in New York now. He was opening here at Unit 120, where Lawson now resides. And he's like, yeah, come on down, check it out. George Hughes, an amazing person. He's the landlord of the building. He can help you get on your feet, and so we ultimately negotiate a really good deal where, we can get in here for a very low cost and open up our doors, and George helps us build the restaurant, and that was kind of the way Howlin' Rays was born into this space. And since then, it's evolved like massive. Like this room wasn't even ours.
I was thinking when I saw the doors that I was like, I bet they're taking over more space.
It's already been taken over.
Yeah.
Like we have 20,000 pounds of spices back there right now. You know what I mean? Or maybe like 15,000. Like right there.
It's a lot.
Yeah. We have fridges that are just dedicated for wings, just dedicated for they're isolated fridges. All at different temperatures, all for specific reasons, bone in, bone out, etc. It's so broken down, and it's great because when you go into the restaurant and you experience it, you just see that counter, you just see it, but there's so much more behind it.